And yeah, I think sovereignty is everything.
Yeah. So what do you do because you know, you're in a field where you work with a lot of people and just in general in life, you meet all these different people, and I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to this, sometimes you meet people whose energy doesn't reflect yours and maybe they give off a negative energy. Um, how do you handle situations like that where you're in a situation where you have to be interacting with somebody and maybe um, they're not being super kind, they're being negative? How do you
Mm.
handle that?
Yeah, that's super. You have to be aware of it. And I think initially, I think that's a learning process and probably maybe a big one for me of like learning boundaries and discernment and also goes back into the intimacy with the self, like listening to myself. Um, and also discerning between projection and your intuition, which is a really subtle one. Well, let me step out of judgment and projection and let me just, subtly remind myself this person is exhibiting things that are in me that I'm uncomfortable with. So that's one that I do. And uh, I do believe that there's energy suckers out there. So that's
Hmm.
one to be aware of. And yeah, I think sovereignty is everything, just even saying, hey, like in mind wise, they're like, you're not going to suck my energy. Like,
Hmm.
no, so I think like the sovereignty of a no is pretty powerful.